are not going to want to be with someone who you cannot look at. You should not be dating someone who you think is not attractive, because I promise you that just means they are not your person. And you'll know this because I know y'all see the people who are so in love and look at their partner and are like, look how gorgeous that person is. And you're thinking like, oh, that's cute, but like, no.
Welcome to Pegasus versus the World, where we take on challenges, comedy, trending topics, and some travel.
City boy! City boy!
All right, I guess the question here is, how important are looks when it comes to relationships, dating, marriage? How important are looks? I'd love for you guys to answer that in the comments. I have an answer for it, and I'll tell you what I think. I want to hear where this young lady goes. I haven't heard this whole thing before. It kind of got this. Hold on. It said, find your person. I didn't realize they were going to go into this rant about being, physically attractive. It doesn't see. Let's see what she says, because I don't want to get on to her too much, but it's like, it says Beau's mother. So she has children. I don't know if she's married, because it doesn't say married with children, but anyway. This is her channel, I believe, on TikTok, Beau's mother. If you want to go experience some of Beau's mother for yourself, have fun with it. But let's see what she has to say, and let's see what the comments have to say, and let's see what you have to say and what I have to say. If you're here for it, like, share, comment, subscribe. There'll be a link in the description to some of my other channels on Black Pegasus. If you don't know, now you know. Nah. But let's go, man. So far, I felt like this is one-sided. And I'll explain my premise as I listen to more of this. Again, this is coming from a young lady. She looks like, she looks like a teenager, but I'm guessing she's in her early 20s. Who knows? Let's go.
You are not going to want to be with someone who you cannot look at. You should not be dating someone who you think is not attractive, because I promise you that just means they are not your person. And you'll know this because I know y'all see the people who are so in love and look at their partner and are like, look how gorgeous that person is. And you're thinking like, oh, that's cute, but like, not my type, which is fine. But you need to find your partner attractive. I don't know when people started saying like looks don't matter in a relationship. Yes, they do. And you should have the right to care about what your partner looks like.
Okay. Before we get to the end of this, because it's only a minute long, but we got to talk about this, because this is some very shallow thinking. And this is why your relationship won't last. I believe you should be attracted to your partner visually, physically, at some capacity. But the way she's amplifying this is it's almost like, nah, if you ain't attracted like on this level, you that's not your person. And I want to just, before we get it, because I'm going to play the whole thing, I want to hear her out. But this is very shallow. Again, she's young. She's super immature. She's not life experienced. For y'all who don't watch me, I'm 45 years old. And I want to tell you guys something about my life and what I've seen, and me getting to see true love in a sense that people don't understand what true love is. True love isn't just that happy emotion or feeling. It's a journey. It's chapters, right? Because it's a bond you create with someone, whether it's your significant other, your children, your relatives. It's a bond. And each of these bonds are different. The relationship I have with my wife is different than the relationship I have with my kids, different than the relationship I have with my parents. But these are all examples of love. She is talking about dating, significant others, marriage per se. My parents were married for 30 years, and they would still be married to this day if my mother didn't die in 2010 from cancer. And what she's saying, I don't want to say it's blasphemy, but it's so shallow. And I learned a lot from this, from my father. Watching his actions, not hearing him speak about it, but watching his actions. My mother got cancer I forget what age I was, but she got it in her breast and had to have her breast hacked off. And this is before all these nice, breast implant procedures and stuff they do now. And, my mom was breastless. She was bald. They kept hacking things off. And I don't think my father looked at her like, oh, I just see you when we met in our 20s. You're so beautiful. I don't think he did that. I think he looked at the beauty of the inside. Everything, her personality, the kids they've raised, and, all these different things. Now, at face value, she's talking about just meeting someone, right? Or the initial attraction. But it is so important that we get away from these surface level ideas. Oh, you're so hot. Oh, you're this, you're that. Because I tell you, when I saw my dad stick it out with my mom, he didn't want her to pass away. He loved her. He still cries to this day about losing her. Not that he's very stoic. He doesn't just sit around and cry because my mom died in 2010. But on the memorial days and certain days, he has his moments where he breaks down. And watching a man have to change his wife, have to wipe her ass, have to see her beautiful parts. And I say that in the sense of a woman's beauty. They have beauty. You look at their face, breast, the way they're built, and, these parts are considered a beautiful part of a woman and have that hacked off. Her hair. Women love having hair at some capacity, long flowing hair. And, seeing all that and him just seeing through it and being like, I want you to make it through, Teresa. I love you so much. And her not making it through. And that is love. It's like when you talk about all this surface level nonsense, it's hard for me to even listen to. Because like my mom literally went through, like, let's just keep it real. Because I love her to death, and she was always beautiful to me. She's my mother. But on a scale of the stereotypical nonsense that she's talking about, my mother wasn't stereotypically beautiful anymore because it was stripped from her. They cut off her breasts. They took all her hair. So when I see my father lead by example and show that it's more than looks, I get a little flustered hearing stuff like this. Let's go back a little bit and listen to her and hear her out. Maybe she'll have some moments. And my mom was very attractive when my dad and her met. But was that everything? And how long does attraction last? When you have these type of conversations and look at the divorce rate in America currently, if people are taking their advice from people like her, no wonder.
Are in a relationship. Yes, they do. And you should have the right to care about what your partner looks like. This is the person you're gonna live the rest of your life with. You're supposed to find them attractive. You're supposed to find your person that you think is so attractive that it shuts out really anybody else out for you. And the thing is like so many different ways to look at this, but just know, like, find your attractive person.
What happens when they're no longer attractive? Like, I'm not talking about someone who just got married and gave up on life and gained all this weight and just watches TV and drinks beer or, eats ice cream. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about life weathers you. I know women are chasing and I say that because I don't see this as much with men. That's just my lived experience. But women are doing the Botox, the breast implants, the this, the lifts, the this. I don't see men doing that. I see men cutting off all their hair. Just being like, yo, this is me now. I see men rocking grays. Hey, this is me now. I run, I work out, but this is me now, So on a scale, I see women chasing, the longevity of beauty, but there's value in, like, women, this is the first thing that men see is their beauty. So I understand that whole premise. And I'm just saying, man, looks ain't everything. And the way she put it, it's just, realistically, I expect that. Like, she just looked like the typical blonde, even though she probably dyed her hair, doesn't even have blonde hair, who knows? But it's just like some typical Barbie cheerleading blonde shit is what she said. She just said some stereotypical, oh my God, you got to find someone fine because you always want to be and block everything out. Like, circumstances don't happen. Like, your man could be working hard, and get, have a tragic accident at work and his face be scarred for the rest of his life or whatever. And if you went into that relationship focused on attraction as much as she was focused on, that relationship ain't gonna last. You're married to a firefighter and he goes to rescue someone. He rescues 3 babies, but he gets burnt and looks like frickin' Quasimodo the rest of his life because his face got burnt. You're just gonna stop loving him because he's not attractive? Because he did one of the most courageous and valiant things you could. And I mean, let's keep it real. Like, it would be, it's like, oh, what happened here, But that's when it's like the things that are more important than just attraction, that true love shit, that, we built a relationship. We have children together. We have, bonds, we have beliefs, ideologies, so many different things together. Let's read some of these comments and see what the hell these people, hopefully these people aren't as shallow as her. And this is coming from someone who was very shallow probably at her age. I don't know how old she was, but it was only about the looks for me. I had to definitely, grow, learn, life experience. Looks matter, but shouldn't be the sole reason you're with them. Agreed, but it shouldn't be the main focus for a relationship to work. This is what I would say. I think you should be physically attracted to your mate, but I felt like she emphasized it, like your mate needs to be almost like fantasy attractive. And that's where I disagree. I think you find attractive traits. Like, for example, when I met my wife, I thought she was beautiful. I thought she was, stunning. However, I was attracted to the fact that she had a daycare and she watched kids. And I was like, oh, she's good with kids. Okay. She was Christian. I was like, that's okay. So we have the same idea. One day she just came over. This is early. We had been kind of just starting to talk. And 2 weeks in, she brought me a plate of food that she cooked. I was like, what? That's attractive. There's all these different things that attracted me to her beyond just her looks. So I don't know. Again, this is coming from someone who definitely prioritized looks in his life for most of his life. And, I learned a lot about a human, especially, getting married and being with wifey. Say it louder for the people in the back. Yo, people are really rocking with us. Yes, looks matter, obviously. They are what entice you. But remember, they will not be what makes the other stay. I'm unbelievably cooked. People are just like, I'm ugly, I'm cooked. Biologically speaking, 90% of the time looks equal health, and healthy person will always look better than an unhealthy person. And the human mind, looking at someone for being healthy and being attractive, like imagine seeing this person who's physically fit, okay? Physically fit, their skin is shimmering, their hair, everything's perfect, but they got some crazy ass teeth, big ass nose, their ears like this. That has nothing to do with health. That's aesthetics, and that's what she's talking about. So when you talk about this all biologically speaking, we're looking for some healthy blah, blah. Absolutely. No one wants to be with an unhealthy person, and that will shine out to your DNA, but that's just, bro. Anyways, maybe I'm tripping. Let me know in the comments. Let's go. When you're in love, you find them beautiful no matter what. You don't see any of their flaws and admire them. That's like a little fantasy, but I'll give that one a like in comparison to everything else I'm seeing. She elsewhere. Looks don't matter. People attractive. Attractiveness doesn't raise kids. Bruh, this is what I'm saying, man. This is what I'm saying. Like, she and her, man, looks don't matter. I'm cooked. Yo, people are funny. Looks matter. It's not always easy to find someone you're attracted to that likes you back. I mean, looks do matter. I'm not saying looks don't matter. Looks absolutely matter. But I just felt like she put an emphasis on this, and it was very shallow. And for a man who's married, we're about to be 11 years in, raising children, seeing my parents do the same, obvious there's initial attraction between me and my wife. She thought I was attractive. I thought she was attractive. But I thought other things were attractive about her. You know, there's so many things that I thought was attractive about her. It wasn't, you know, it's like, I guess looks do get you through the door, right? But if I'm being honest, if the looks don't get you through the door, there's certain attractive attributes that can get you through the door, right? For men, sometimes it can be your wit. Sometimes it can be your humor. Sometimes it could be your status. You've heard those girls. I don't normally go for a guy like this, but he just makes me laugh. He makes me feel this type of way. So don't get caught up in all the hype. You see all these comments, I'm cooked, meaning like they don't have a chance because they don't look, you know, the way this chick is saying they need to look. But if there's a will, there's a way. And, you know, I don't know. I think there's a nuance to it. I think looks do get you through the door for sure. So let me not be dumb and go off on a crazy rant. But sometimes I hear it presented like this and I just get a little like, come on now. Because also a lot of these people who look good are the hoes of society, right? And I was a hoe at one point. Like, I'll just keep it real. But my wife was absolutely not. And I was attracted to that. It's one of the reasons I wifed her up. Because, you know, I had been dating a girl before her. And it was just like, God damn, you slept with him too? Like, what the like, you go to the gym. It's like, oh, yeah, that's my ex. And you're like, bruh. Like, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? So that was honestly, that was one of the most attractive traits, that my wife was a good girl. I was like, damn, okay. Messing with being a rapper, messing with all these dumb 304s, you know. So, hey, that's my take, man. Y'all let me know in the comments what you think. But I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Holla.
City boy, city boy.